Good evening, everybody, and a warm welcome to you all to Straylight Studios as an Arabic meaningful play as part of the Designer Saturday 2007. We're very honoured to be one of the opening acts in the Designer Saturday, being such a successful event last year and looking like an amazing event coming this year. I'd like to start this presentation by asking you all a really simple question. How many people in the audience would consider themselves gamers? The staff on that put your hands up. Okay, so we've got about 10%, right? And how many of you played SingStar or Buzz, though? Alright? So a few more, alright? So around about 30-40%. But how many of you played Monopoly or Trivial Pursuit? Twister, football? Alright, so you all actually play games, but you wouldn't consider yourself gamers. So what is it actually about the games industry as you all perceive it, and the stereotype of a gamer, which we all see so negatively? Well, the games industry has a lot of baggage. For the last couple of decades, it really has been focused on geek culture and engaging those guys in their darkened bedrooms, playing away on their Xbox games, wasting away their existence. They're seen as unconstructive, wasteful uses of time, and as if that wasn't bad enough, they also had harmful content to the degree that people tag them as murder simulators. But games get a lot of publicity for good or ill. So what is it actually about the industry which is so exciting? Well, the numbers are pretty immense. The games industry now equals around $7.4 billion as of last financial year in the United States. That's bigger than Hollywood. But in comparison to other growing industries such as the internet advertising industry, leveraged by social applications such as Facebook and MySpace, it's actually slowing down. If you look at the last 5 years, game sales have completely tapered off. And what this tells us is that the market that we're aiming for now, the traditional gamer geek market, is completely saturated. There's no more opportunity to expand it. So how can we work beyond the core gamer? Well, as I say, the core market is saturated. So how can we expand it? How can we engage real people, as opposed to geeky people, with game content? Well, there's two emerging markets that you may be aware of. One is casual games, so games for real people, and the other is serious games, and games for productivity. So I'll quickly look over these two different markets. Casual games. Casual games are based on short burst interaction. They're supposed to be easy to pick up and play, and the emphasis really is on fun. So there's no real onus really on the player to immerse themselves in any extravagant environment, travel across the stars of a distant galaxy. It's all pretty simple. It's flipping around jewels, it's shooting geeks, it's doing something which is accessible and enjoyable. But this little, what you might consider a throwaway industry, has grown incredibly quickly over the last 3 years to now account for just over $2 billion of the games industry, and it's continuing to grow at 20% per year. Now, sorry, I won't bore you with too many figures. Now, the problem with casual games, though, is that they're frivolous. Just as we were saying before, they're pick up and play, but the market is going to cap itself out very, very quickly. You might have all interacted with them in your lunch break at work, but is there anybody really getting taking anything away from those experiences? They're fun, they're incredible, but ultimately they're inconsequential. I like to call them procrastination in my definition. So there's minimum engagement in this form of entertainment, and ultimately what we might call them is throwaway. Quite the opposite too. Serious games. Okay, this is the second market I discussed. Serious games is a huge emerging market which has got a lot of attention lately, which is really aimed at using 3D environments as simulation for workplace training and for social networking. It's aimed at educational institutions. And as I say, there's a huge amount of excitement and investment. IBM have pledged multi-millions of dollars to develop an internal facility to develop these sorts of experiences. But what's the problem with the serious games industry then? Well, there's two big issues, and luckily enough for us, simplicity is key, and they've gone ahead and defined it for us through the two words that actually describe the industry. It's really quite simple. Serious things are boring, alright? Enough said. And games, as I've just finished telling you, are for geeks. So, if serious things are boring, and games for geeks, then what are serious games? Boring things for geeks. Well, a lot of money's been invested in the industry, they haven't had a lot of uptake. The complexity of serious games is too much for the everyday person. They can't engage with these 3D environments because everybody assumes that people will take the time to master these complex interactive environments. Everybody assumes that there is a sliding scale between productivity and fun. At one side of the scale, we have serious games, which are incredibly inaccessible and very unfun. On the other side of the spectrum, we have casual games, which, while fun and engaging and immersive for the mainstream market, are hardly of any consequence. They're a simple throwaway. So we have this graph here. We're in the middle. This game, this mythological game that might actually be accessible and meaningful at the same time, is completely vacant. But hold on a second. How is this happening? I mean, games are such an amazing medium. Everyone's gone on about this for years. Games are a great digital medium. They enable all sorts of elements of play. And to quote one of the industry greats, Will Wright, who has created The Sims, SimCity, and Spore, I think we culturally disconnect the concepts of play and education when play really is education, and that's how we developed it evolutionarily. So play is core to who we are, what we do, and how we develop a sense of self. So how about creating some experiences with relevance, with purpose, while still engaging people in a fun, playful nature? To do that, we need to start creating